Perfect. All right. We got Coach Derrick Ansley here, and we'll just start with taking questions. Again, hit the raise your hand function, and we'll call on you. We'll start with Brent Hubbs.
Coach, can you just give an assessment of what you think of your defense through the first couple of days in pads, the first couple of weeks, and in a follow up to that, how much did the walkthrough stuff for a couple of weeks help you versus what you lost not having spring practice?
Well, we're 6 days in, and it's to be expected. There's some ups and downs, highs and lows. We've been inside, we've been outside. Weather has brought us inside a couple of days, and the heat kind of really caught up to us yesterday. But I see a lot of guys that are trying to fight, they're trying to work, they're trying to do things we ask them to do. We just got to do it at a higher clip. As far as not having spring, it hurt everybody. Everybody's got the same situation, and you got to make the best of it. I thought we had a really good plan via Zoom. When we couldn't have our players to do installs and meet with those guys every day as a unit and split up into position groups. So I think the mental aspect of it was very productive. Although you need that, you definitely need the physical preparation as well. So we're just trying to catch everybody up as quickly as we can to get them ready for the first game.
We'll go to Patrick Brown, followed by Blake Topmeyer.
Coach, I guess how would you kind of assess maybe where your secondary is at this early stage of the preseason? Do you feel like you have a lot of options there, a lot of different pieces you can move around there? And maybe how are some guys there impressing you so far?
Yeah, nowadays, the secondary is a lot like basketball. You want to be able to match up and put different people in different spots, to show off their strengths, to put them in a situation to make plays. So with that being said, we do have a lot of options, a lot of guys that can do different things. We had a couple guys got some nicks and bruises here early on, but for the most part, we got a lot of guys back from last year outside of Nigel. So we should be deeper in the back end, a lot of game experience, a lot of play time back there. And we need those guys to be the strength of the defense and lean on those guys a lot more this year.
Blake?
Hey, Derrick. Have you or others on staff talked to your guys about tomorrow's Saturday's march? And then have you guys also have any conversations within the team about the death of Jacob Blake?
Well, that's a question for Coach Pruitt. We always listen to our players. These are different times, they're troubling times, and our kids are very aware of what's going on around them, and we support those guys 100%.
We'll go to Rob Lewis. Rob, you there?
Sorry, Bill. Forgot to unmute. Coach, you touched on it a moment ago, but just what kind of a luxury is it to have two cornerbacks in Bryce and Alante who have played so much in this league, and how much does that free you up to do some different things in the front seven?
Well, the way we want to play football is we want to play tight, close man-to-man. We want to deny the football. We want to affect the quarterback with 4 rushers and play split safety defense as much as we can. To do that, you need really good corners outside that can hold up and win the one-on-ones, deep down the field at a consistent level. And Bryce and Alante both being true juniors now and basically being 2 years of full-time starting, that is a luxury to have experience at the corner position. Now, we have other guys that have a lot of talent and a lot of play time as well. Kenny George, he started 4 or 5 games last year, and he's having a really good camp so far. And so is Warren Burrell. So we have 4, really good options at that position, and all those guys are battling right now.
We'll go to David Ubben, followed by Mike Wilson.
Derrick, where do you guys stand at your inside linebacker spot around Henry? Where do you kind of expect that to shake out, or where does that stand right now?
Well, it's an open competition. We have some guys back from last year that were young, via Quavarius Crouch, who we played at inside back or outside back. He's kind of been a journeyman his first year. And we're kind of, getting him stationary at the inside back position, the money position, which is a really good spot for him. Backing him up right now is Jeremy Banks, and those guys are battling, tooth and nail, for that starting money position. Behind Henry, you have a guy like Aaron Beasley, who's kind of a tweener who plays safety, has played linebacker. Now he's full-time linebacker rotation. So we feel like we got 4 really good guys that are playing and rotating through, and the cream will rise to the top, and who are the best man in, the best 2 play.
Mike?
Yeah, Derrick, how have you seen Henry kind of elevate how he's leading this defense now that Daniel Batuli's gone? And then also, what are kind of your expectations and what are you asking early from Key Lawrence?
Well, I think the first thing with Henry is he's changed his body. You know, he's shredded some body fat and added some muscle. He's gotten quicker at the point of attack. He's a lot better, you know, laterally, changing direction, covering running backs out the backfield. And he's done a really good job of trying to take on the leadership role, void of Daniel, Nigel, and Daryl. So those are 3 really good leaders that we lost. And that's one thing that we're trying to develop this camp is the leadership of everybody doing things the right way all the time on and off the field. Keyshawn Lawrence is very talented. He's playing some safety position right now for us, playing on all special teams. We expect him to make a push at safety and compete and see what he can get done here in this camp.
We'll go to Vince Ferrara, followed by Jimmy Himes.
Coach Ansley, can you talk about trying to develop a consistent pass rush? You lost Darrell Taylor off of last year. Talk about that group of outside backers and ends to give you guys that pass rush that you need.
You know, losing a guy like Darrell, obviously second-round draft pick, one of the top ends in the draft last year, is going to be a challenge to replace that kind of production, that kind of talent. It's going to kind of be by committee. You know, we have a couple guys that played a little bit last year, and we need younger guys to step forward. Kevon Bennett being a guy that has pass rush ability. DeAndre Johnson has pass rush ability, and both of those guys are, you know, redshirt juniors, so they've been here for 4 years. And then backing them up, you know, giving some pushes is Roman Harrison. John Mincy's playing out there. Morgan Joseph and Tyler Barron are 2 young guys that we need to continue to develop and bring along to add more pass rush, you know, to our stable of guys.
Jimmy?
Derrick, I asked Matthew Butler yesterday if he thought that last year the defensive line had overachieved, and he said he thought they underachieved. And I wonder, from your perspective, what do you want to see from the defensive line as far as improvement from last year to this year?
You know, the first thing is, you know, controlling the line of scrimmage, you know, playing on the offensive side of the ball. If we can strike blockers up front and come out of our hips and press and reestablish the line of scrimmage, then the linebackers can fit off of them. The secondary can do a great job squeezing the ball. And if we can do that consistently with 4 guys and not having to take guys, you know, out of second and third level to add to the front, you know, we're going to be successful. So we just want those guys to play hard, you know, play with toughness and dominate their box.
All right, we got time for a couple more. We'll go to David and then back to Blake.
Derrick, as you look at this defense, what excites you right now and what concerns you right now?
Well, what excites me is we have a 10-game SEC schedule. You know, every week you got to be ready to go. You're going to be judged every week by how you perform. So I'm excited to see these guys gel together early on and see what we can, you know, progress toward the end of the year. What concerns me is the lack of, you know, spring ball, you know, the lack of play time together. But we do have a lot of guys that played last year and have played multiple years. So we just got to get back in football shape, you know, and continue to do things the right way.
Derrick, you mentioned Henry, you know, emerging more in a leadership role after the loss of those seniors. Are there some other guys that have impressed you with their leadership? And then also, is J.J. Peterson at the outside backer position right now? And if so, how's he transitioning back out there?
Yeah, up front, you talk about guys like Matthew Butler, Latrell Bumpus have really done a really good job of trying to, you know, lead their group, you know, by, you know, doing and verbally. You know, Henry obviously is our inside piece as far as the leadership is concerned. Trayvon Flowers, Alante Taylor, Bryce Thompson, you know, Theo Jackson, you know, all those guys in the back end have really taken it upon themselves to, you know, bring along guys like Keyshawn Lawrence, you know, Danico Slaughter, guys that have talent that we're counting on to add depth, you know, to our back end. So, you know, if we get everybody doing things the right way, we got a chance to be okay.
All right, our last 2 questions. We'll go Patrick Brown, then Brent Hubbs.
Coach, you just mentioned Trayvon Flowers. Kind of how is the safety position kind of shaping up at this point with Jalen and Trayvon coming back, and who are some of the other guys there that are pushing those 2?
Well, we've moved Trayvon from the free safety to the strong safety, just kind of, experimenting with that to kind of replace Nigel's production there. I think that's a natural position for him. Tank's still playing the free. He's got capabilities of playing the strong. He can play the star. Theo Jackson is rotating in back there. Keyshawn Lawrence, Cheyenne LaBruza, Tyus Fields. So, we got 6 or 7 guys that are rotating back there, and we're going to need them all. So we coach all those guys like they're the starters, because you never know when you're going to need that quality depth. And to answer the question before by JJ, JJ started camp as inside backer, and he's moving around, playing some outside backer. We'll probably play some inside backer here and there, but he is on the edge as of today.
Patrick. I'm sorry, Brent.
Coach, what made Jimmy Brumball a good fit for your defense, and what do you like about the reconfiguring of your staff with Brian Niedermeyer over there and Shelton Felton?
I think Jimmy Brumball is one of the best D-line coaches in the country. Obviously, me and him worked together in Kentucky for 3 years, but we've been knowing each other all the way back to his college days at Auburn and my days at Troy. So I think he's very technically sound, very detailed oriented, very meticulous in his approach, has a drill for everything that they need to do up front, has video evidence to back that up with his coaching. And the kids like that, they like immediate feedback. They like knowing different ways to do different things. And I think he's going to be a really good fit and add a lot of value to those guys up front. Brian Niedermeyer, he's a young guy, a lot of energy. Kids really like him. I like him. I've been on him for a long time. He's a bright young mind. He's been an offensive guy, but he's got defensive background. He's worked with Coach Pruitt and myself on defensive staffs before he got to Tennessee. So he's just picking up right where he left off as far as on the grass. And Shelton Felton is doing a really good job with our outside backers of getting those guys to go, getting them to come off the ball the right way, striking blockers, being multiple, because those guys have a lot of responsibility. They got to be apex players. They got to be edge of the line. They got to be the pass rush. They got to be drop. So they're all doing a nice job. We all got room for improvement, and we're going to continue to get that done every day.
All right. Thank you, Coach. We appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
We'll be back.